Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Batman.
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with E3? It's like E2 with the ground. I mean, I don't know. I understand it's still kind of a thing for it's an event and it's a time for everyone, all these game companies and what have you, to release information on their games. So it's cool in that sense that it's kind of centralized and it's still like an event, it's an experience to go to if you'd like to. But I feel like it is sort of, sad now. It's not a big deal anymore because you don't need to go to E3 and they don't need to send, all this information to E3 because the internet got so big. So now a lot of it is just we're not waiting for people to go there and then report on it in magazines and stuff. We're waiting basically for that stuff to go up online, or even if you want to just watch it live and just watch the whole thing being streamed, you can do that too without even having to go there. And that's cool and all, but for a lot of people it does sort of defeat some of that, where it's you could have just released this yourself directly without doing the whole E3 thing. And it's sad because there are companies that are kind of doing that too. There are some things where they're not going to bother putting it at E3 because they don't feel like it's ready to present or something, or they don't feel the need to motivate themselves to get it done for E3 because whenever they release it, people will find it and circulate it and it will be seen. And I guess I just find it it's just a little sad. And also for me at this point too, it's a lot of these are just going to be trailers. A lot of people coming together to watch advertisements. That's like getting together for a festival of watching commercials, and it's weird in that sense. Granted, they're interested in the products that are being advertised, but you're not going to necessarily see a lot of gameplay. You might if you're lucky, but it's been a thing that's a lot of times you're not even seeing gameplay, or you're not seeing much of it. You don't know how it's going to really relate to the game as a whole, or if that's even going to be final or not. If this is just going to be something that's announced and then dropped later or totally changed. It does feel like kind of a crapshoot. And, I'm not going to be sold on cutscenes. I'm not going to be sold on ideas. I'm going to need to see something about that. I mean, the only ideas I've been sold on are ideas that I'm making up myself anyways before they even try to implant that idea. For instance, a big one for me was The Legend of Zelda, the new Zelda game. I was already kind of hyped because the Wii U came out. I was like, oh, there's going to be a new Zelda game on that, and been waiting for that true new Zelda game that's not a spin-off or a remake. And that idea has had me hyped ever since I thought of it. And they didn't even have to advertise and say there's going to be a Zelda on here. You kind of figure there would be, because there's been one on almost every major system that Nintendo's put out. The problem is that, you go here, it's yeah, they're pushing that a lot, but it's I'm already hyped for that. You're not feeding into my hype any more than I already have. I want to get that game. The thing is that is going to help me either deter me or get me even more excited is if people start, actually playing the full thing. It gets finished and people start, talking about the actual product. That's what's going to excite me even more, or if it's bad, that's going to deter me, whatever. But that's the thing that's going to help people decide, I think, is sort of when you see more evaluated reviews like that. It's okay, people who have played it and experienced it and know what they're talking about, rather than whatever the company decides, that's putting it out, showing you the best parts of it and trying to make you interested in that. Obviously it's a little bit loaded there. It's a little bit biased. And I don't know. I guess I just find it almost... Maybe it's just because I'm older now as well. I don't know. But I just find it a little bit... it's not quite as exciting as it used to be. It's not a huge deal anymore, I don't think. Or as big of a deal. It's still a big deal, but... it's still nice for, games you might not even thought of. A lot of indie games you don't really hear much about, wouldn't necessarily be looking for, or wouldn't be trending as much. That's kind of cool to look up. But a lot of it is just like, well, it's more stuff that you kind of expected, and you probably would have found out about anyways once the news came out, because there's a huge fan base for all the stuff. So, I don't know. That's all I got, I guess. I'm not particularly angry or anything about it. I just find it a little strange that it's still a huge thing at this point, when it's like, it's a show. It's a tradition at this point. It's not a necessity. It's not like a really cool, like, this is a great source for information, to get information out there at this point. It's just a way to kind of bring people together and get them excited about stuff. And I'm at least glad that they're still kind of doing that and, putting up the celebration of it. It's just that for people like me who probably won't ever go to those things, they're not really, they're not really the source of the information anymore. They're just a place that they choose to present it first, and you're probably still going to get it through your regular mediums anyway. Certain sites on the internet. So I don't know. That's everything, I guess. So what's the deal with E3? It's like E4 with the ground. What's the deal with saying?